This is the Orioles POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Baltimore Orioles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Baltimore Orioles postcast late on this Monday night. My name is Luke Slabaugh, and tonight we're discussing a 10-6 Baltimore Orioles win over the Texas Rangers in 11 innings. Thank you so much for joining. Here it is, bordering on Orioles After Dark content, and Baltimore opens its series with the Rangers down in Arlington in a big way. An extra innings dub that got away from them, admittedly, a couple of times. The O's improved to 37-47 on the year, 10 games under 500. They gain a game on the Yankees in the American League East Division, and waiting on the final results of the Mariners-Royals game. However, right now at 11:45 Eastern, it looks like the O's are going to get one game closer to leapfrogging the Royals, who are next in line in the American League wildcard standings. As a reminder, the show always streams live to YouTube, and it's available on demand after the fact on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts for free. Before we continue, as always, go ahead in the comment section. Let me know, my live viewers, who your pick for player of the game is. We have several candidates, and I'm going to go with one in the second block. We'll talk about it at length. Many candidates to choose from. The O's improved to 3-2 in extra innings. 2-3 in extra innings. With this win in 11 innings over the Rangers, they never lost a game where they led by 3 in extra innings in franchise history. And before we go into this recap, it's worth understanding that Texas had just gone into extra innings the entire series where they hosted the Seattle Mariners. So the 3 prior games to this one, the Rangers had taxed their bullpen in a series loss, 1-2 against their division rival, the Mariners. And so taking this to 11 against the Rangers was imperative, and you could tell that the O's were able to outmanage them and gain the upper hand against this overtaxed Rangers bullpen.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Top of the 11th, Ryan O'Hearn is the ghost runner, and left-hander Hobie Milner on the mound for the Rangers. Who's leading off this inning? None other than Luis Vázquez. Who is Luis Vázquez? Well, if you didn't know, he was not leading off the inning. It was 1 out already. Cedric Mullins popped out. Luis Vázquez up with 1 out, Ryan O'Hearn at second base. That is setting the scene for you. Vázquez was a pickup from the Chicago Cubs, was kind of cast away from them, DFA'd. And Vázquez is probably notorious more for throwing 3 scoreless innings as a position player this year for Baltimore. Got 3 double plays in those innings. He's been hit hard, but a pristine ERA of 0, and he's only up right now because Jorge Mateo is on his rehab assignment. 2-0 count against Hobie Milner. Gets a pitch he likes, drives it up the middle, 107 off the bat. He's got some pop in that bat, some juice. O'Hearn able to come around and score. The throw is cut off, and after review, it's determined that Luis Vázquez actually gets his mitt underneath the tag at second base, and he is able to extend his contribution to the inning. But his second career RBI in his 17th career game, his first hit as an Oriole and first RBI, comes in the most clutch of moments with the game on the line. Makes it a 7-6 ball game. Jackson Holliday walks, then Ramon Laureano, 0-1, gets a fastball from Milner. Fastball in on the hands, ropes it down the left field line, his 3rd double of the game, which allows Vázquez to score, makes it 8-6. And then Gunnar Henderson, also behind 0-1, hits a double off the wall, 2-run score, and Gunnar's 4th RBI in extra innings alone made it a 10-6 ball game. How did we get to the 11th inning? The O's entered the bottom of the 10th up 6-3. And with runners at the corners and 1 out, Adolis Garcia at the plate, left-hander Keegan Aiken on the bump for Baltimore. 3-2 count, only throwing fastballs to Garcia, leaves one elevated at 93, and Garcia leaves the park to tie the game at 6. The O's blew a couple 3-run leads They had to extend it to 4 to really put the belt to booty, so to speak. We carry on to the top of the 10th, working back in reverse for this game with Ramon Laureano as the ghost runner. Gunnar Henderson hits a 2-run blast against left-hander Robert Garcia. A 1-2 count gets a cement mixer slider, lefty on lefty violence, hit 403 to right field, made it 5-3. And later in the inning, right-hander Sean Armstrong, former Cardinal legend, on the mound with 2 outs. Colton Cowser at the plate. He's ahead 3-0. Gets a 4-seam fastball he likes down the middle at 94. And the Sam Houston alum, Houston, Texas native, hits a tank to right center field, 425, and made it 6-3. And that's the thing. The O's had plenty of opportunities to put this game away, and they finally do after 11 high stakes, high intensity innings. And to be frank, they probably should have scored more than 3 runs against left-hander Patrick Corbin.
This is what you'll be talking about.
This is a game that the Orioles lose in April and May, right? And how fitting that they end this month of June, a successful month of June, with this type of win where they are able to win on the margins. We go top of the 3, scoreless game. Jackson Holliday hits a sinker up the middle against left-hander Patrick Corbin for a single. Laureano then gets a sinker that he hits back through the box. So runners on first and second. Corbin at that point had only thrown 4 first pitch strikes. He was working behind hitters. And then Gunnar works an excellent at bat, 8 pitches, and he walks. Bases juiced for Gary Sanchez. First pitch, gets a slider he likes low and rips it down the left field line, rattles around the corner, and all 3 runners score standing, Gunnar included. Ramon Urias then singled, moving Sanchez over to third base. And with no outs in the inning, probably would have been good to put more pressure on Corbin, the left-hander, especially with the overtaxed Rangers bullpen. Would have liked to have put Urias in motion. They don't, and then 3 runners consecutively go down, Cowser, Mayo, and Mullins, batters, to cap a 28-pitch inning for Patrick Corbin. Coming up, we're going to reveal our player of the game. I'm thinking a shared reward tonight and tonight alone. 11 innings, that's free baseball by 2 frames. We'll walk through that. We'll touch briefly on Trevor Rogers' day on the bump. Left-hander did pretty good, I thought. Save 1 blemish, and then the O's catching situation goes from bad to worse. All that coming up on the Baltimore Orioles postcast. Stick with us. Doing my best to get this one done in 15 to 16 minutes. Connor Newcomb in the morning. Summer sports are in full swing. You like baseball under the lights, Orioles after dark, golf on the green, high-stakes soccer action. FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. So you're already following the action and you're getting sunburn at the pool. FanDuel is so easy to get in on the game while you're hanging out with friends, while you're living your best life. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. This game in particular, great example. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 back in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Shared award. If we're going on extra innings alone, Gunnar Henderson put on a heck of a show. We already mentioned that really good walk he worked against Patrick Corbin there in the top of the 3rd. He finishes 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs, the 2-run blast and the 2-run double in the 10th and 11th innings, respectively. Pardon me, it's late. Ramon Laureano is the key to all this, though. 6 consecutive games now with a hit and a run scored. He is a catalyst there at the top of the lineup. He was brought on to bash lefties, and tonight was a really good case in point of what he has been signed to do. OPS now overall approaching 900. He finishes 4 for 6, 3 doubles, and 3 runs scored. Ramon Laureano has been outstanding, extraordinary, can do it all. And speaking of guys who can do it all, Trevor Rogers also showing that he can have more than just pitching on his resume in 2025. To be frank, and to keep this on the skinny, uh, Rogers had a perfect fourth and fifth inning for the O's. He settled down. He shut out the Rangers for 13 consecutive innings. We mentioned the 8 shutout frames last week in this same matchup against Corbin, lefty against lefty. And then ultimately it was just the walks that killed him and frankly killed the O's pitching tonight. Walks Corey Seager to start the bottom of the sixth, gets a 2-0 count on Marcus Semien, who he had been admittedly pitching around for most of the night. Places a fastball poorly, 92 down the middle, and Semien launches it. Makes it a 3-2 ball game. That home run to left, the first home run that Rogers has allowed in his fourth start this season. Then gets Adolis Garcia to ground out, and that was the end of his day. 5 1/3, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and that 1 home run. ERA sits at 2.05. Trevor Rogers also became the first Orioles pitcher to bat since 2021, since they did the whole universal DH rule in baseball that has admittedly brought some excitement and pop to the game. Those old school NL managers like Tony La Russa and Dusty Baker back in their heyday were really good at managing around that. Joe Madden, also a great example. But we got to go back to the top of the second. Chadwick Tromp hit a ball really well up the middle. Semien was able to catch it, but he slipped out of the box on that swing, and you could feel him kind of hold his side and his back. He was the catcher, the battery mate for Trevor Rogers, and he's lifted with lower back tightness an inning later. So Gary Sanchez, who was DHing, comes in to catch, and the O's have to drop their DH. Leave that up to Trevor Rogers to strike out looking twice against Corbin. You don't want him to swing the bat too hard. You don't want him to get hurt. And so there was a nice shot on the Masson broadcast. He's wearing the helmet backwards, walking through the dugout. This is all new to him in his first at bats since he was a Marlin in 2021 during that All-Star campaign. With Gary Sanchez as the catcher, this leaves it lends its way to some things to be desired on defense. And the best example of this, we got to go bottom 7. 3-2 ball game, as we mentioned. Sir Anthony Dominguez filled in admirably in the bottom of the 6th to get the final 2 outs in relief of Trevor Rogers, and starts out pretty well. 2 strikeouts, gets Josh Young with a sweeper low, gets Kyle Higashioka with a sweeper low, so 2 outs. Then the 9-hole hitter, which has been a thorn in Orioles pitching side for most of the year, Michael Hellman. Don't know who that is. Don't want to know who that is. 9-hole hitter, second game of the season. Walks. Promptly steals second base. Gary Sanchez's throw is in the dirt. Short hops, bumps off of Hellman's noggin, it appears, and deflects into center field. So Hellman takes off for third. Cedric Mullins able to field it and throws off balance to Jackson Holliday. Both Holliday and Henderson are kind of trolling around there on the fringe of the infield grass. And Hellman is waved by the third base coach, and they are challenging. They are just putting pressure on the Orioles defense. Mullins throws to Holliday. Holliday one hops to Sanchez, and it skips, but it's a true hop. And it is an accurate throw, and Sanchez cannot catch the ball. Just underneath his gear, spurts out, head first slide by Hellman into Sanchez, ties the game. You got to catch the ball. And we even saw this traces in the bottom of the 9th with Felix Bautista. The Orioles then proved that they couldn't hold runners, couldn't catch the ball. The catcher can't catch the ball, can't throw out runners, or can't throw within 10 feet of a bag. That is the Gary Sanchez experience, as many Yankees fans on Twitter or X would opine. So Chadwick Tromp is lifted. It looks like it's going to be Gary Sanchez with Adley Rutschman on the IL, Maverick Handley concussed, and now Tromp with his lower back hurting. Could be Jacob Stallings' time. Not going to be Samuel Basayo. We carry on. The O's have a chance to win this series. Brandon Young, the right-hander, is recalled with Zach Eflin going to the IL 15 days with a lower back injury. Young's counterpart, once again, is right-hander Jacob deGrom. You might remember the 37-year-old had a perfect game through 6 innings. Last time out, had a no-no through 7 in that 7-0 Orioles loss. It is David versus Goliath. Charlie Morton is pushed back from tomorrow to Friday with low-grade elbow tendonitis, which interim manager Tony Mansolino says is not that big of a deal. That is an 8:05 first pitch on Masson. But for now, we're going to sign off here. Final score, the Baltimore Orioles 10 and the Texas Rangers 6 in 11 innings. Good night, stay safe, and I will see you right back here tomorrow night.